Okay. Hello and welcome to Vibing Kind. I am Haley.
I'm Zane.
And we are so grateful that you guys are joining us here on the Vibing Kind podcast. Some of you may know us from our Not Safe for Work online communities, and we are grateful if you are here watching as well. We really appreciate that. We are super excited to be able to bring you guys everything that we could not with the previous podcast. As most of you know, Not Safe for Work stuff gets taken down often, and we just realized we have a lot more to offer than that. We have a lot more. You guys know we preach about accountability, we preach about self-awareness, we preach about living an authentic life. And so we are very grateful to be bringing you Vibing Kind, which is going to be bringing you all of that and even more. We are going to be able to take you guys on so many more things that we do in our real life. We're going to be able to express more of our real life, and we are just very grateful.
Yep. Thank you so much for being here. The Vibing Kind podcast is kind of strange sitting down here and talking about
This is
Vibing
new,
Kind
yes.
after 70 episodes of our previous podcast, which we love so dearly. It was just that, with that, as it's funny because we're doing, we've talked about doing this for a while now.
Yes.
And the reason that we're bringing you this podcast is because there's two types of people that know us, basically. People from our Not Safe for Work space, which is this very, we've done a great job of building this community over the past
It's amazing community.
3 years, and the people there that are part of it and are so supportive, we're incredibly grateful. So a lot of y'all are listening to this right now, and y'all know us from that. And then there's people listening to us right now that actually know us in real life.
Yes.
That and it's hard to pitch to your friends in real life to be like, hey, listen to my Not Safe for Work podcast. You might hear this on this episode,
But
but
it's
just
really good.
yeah, just skip that one. I don't want to hear that. So, but no, we did realize that that the podcast really opens up so much more as far as dialogue is concerned, and it allows us to reach so many different people from all walks of life, from literally all over the world. And we are just incredibly grateful that you have taken the time to follow us here and listen to us. So we plan on bringing you some really entertaining and informative episodes here coming up on the Vibing Kind podcast. We want it to be a place where you can come, where you can listen, where you can kick back, relax, laugh, learn some things, tell your friends, turn off the podcast and move on. It's not going to be any type of this is not a podcast for conflict, for
Right.
like deep debate and this side's right or this side's wrong. No, like we want to, we might bring you some things about what's going on in the world, but we want to keep it more lighthearted and light. There's enough serious things that are going on in the world.
Absolutely.
Everybody in the world has their own issues that they have to work through and overcome. So we'll leave that to everyone else, and we'll just keep it fun.
And we just realized, especially over the past week, maybe couple weeks, Apple had taken our Not Safe for Work podcast down, and we were just like, man, what can we do where we can bring everything to the table and package that into one place that is, you can share this podcast with your friends, you can share this podcast with your family, you can say, hey, check this out, it is really good. And I think Vibing Kind is the vibe that we are looking for. I think that Vibing Kind is going to be able to bring you guys everything that Haley and Zane have to offer, which I'm very excited about. And I'm just super grateful. Me especially, I get people writing in all the time asking for advice about real life things that people deal with. And I'm excited to be able to share more of that advice that I give here on the podcast as well, because I think there is a need for advice on life things. And I'm not saying that we have life figured out. We do not have life figured out at all. But I think when you have the right mindset and you have the right tools and you have the right things written out and plan made, that you can accomplish those things. So I'm also very excited to be able to dive into some topics to be able to help some people, you know?
Yeah, and I'm not here to give advice to anyone. We could talk about things, you
Talk
know,
about
but
our lives,
yeah, exactly, and
yes.
give you some anecdotal reasoning maybe here or there,
Yes.
but there's experts in all sorts of fields, and you can go consult them if you want expert opinions. But
No, we're just-
I am not an expert really on I don't think anything really. Maybe you. I
You're
don't know.
not an expert on anything, yeah, right?
No, but I was thinking that you were saying how talking about the podcast, the previous podcast, and we have always done things differently,
Yes.
right? Like especially with the way we do our Not Safe for Work brand, and and people listening, they understand, they know.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of kindness. You can go read through the hundreds of thousands, if not now over 1 million comments. Interactions, there's not one single thread of negativity anywhere in there, and we want to keep pushing positivity, and you know, on the Not Safe for Work side, it's really hard to like it's so interesting because we've interacted with so many people in confidentiality, if you will, over the years, right?
Yeah.
So like we see sides of people that everyday sides of people don't see in other people, but they only see in themselves, right?
Right.
And a perfect example is what happened to you this past weekend when you went out with some friends
Oh, yeah.
at a place, and you know, you had some people approach you, and if you don't mind talking about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So I had, believe it or not, I had gone out to a bar, which is not something I do very often anymore, but I decided to go out to a bar with some friends, and we were sitting there, and I had this guy come up and approach me, and he came and sat down, real nonchalant, just sat down, and introduced himself, and we started talking. He recognized me from my Not Safe for Work community, and I realized then that these guys were big fans. They were especially big fans of the podcast, and I realized then that there is such a need for like a deeper interaction with people. A lot more surface level than our Not Safe for Work stuff can reach. I think there's a need for us to really interact and engage and give everything that we have to offer, which is a lot of positivity, a lot of kindness, a lot of things like that. So these guys were super starstruck, and I was very grateful because I don't realize that sometimes. But they, it was a good.
Yeah, and they, you know, you were saying how they were just so kind to you, and they were.
Yes.
It wasn't weird or awkward, but at the same time, you also mentioned that they were with their significant others.
Yes.
And who didn't come up and approach you apparently, but they were over there and they were okay with, and so then afterward, two of the guys apparently DM'd you on Twitter.
Yes.
And it was interesting, their takes.
So, you know, the guys had taken a few selfies with me that night. And so when they had reached out on Twitter, I had said, hey, if you have those selfies, I'd love to be able to post them. And one of the guys was like, okay, but can you blur my face out? And please don't tag my account because I don't want my coworkers, this is my secret account. I don't want my coworkers to know this is my account. Fair enough.
Which you understand because there's stigma associated,
absolutely. Right? And we are all different people online than we are in real person.
100%.
So the other guy, though, I actually went ahead and blurred his photo already. And he was like, no, don't blur it.
Yeah.
Like, post my face.
Yeah.
Like, please share that picture. So it was interesting to see the two sides of, like, how that does go. The person that is upfront about it and is like, oh, yeah, I met her. And then the person that's like, oh, like I want the recognition, but I don't really want people to know I'm in the space, you know?
Yeah.
So that was interesting. We see that a lot, though.
Well, we see that a lot, and it's people, you know, not comfortable with their real selves, and people right now may be listening like, I don't know, but no, that's true, and we've been living it for the past few years, and it's just you know, we've put it all out there.
We have, yeah.
And because of that, you know, we've built a massive community of support, and like the guy that wanted his face blurred. It's funny because he sent you a DM on Twitter months ago, and you had actually responded to it. You
Yes.
said you responded
Yes,
to it. Yeah.
yes, I did back in December or something.
And it was just, because you get tons of DMs every day, and so that was pretty cool to see
Yeah.
that you had interacted there. And
Well,
like,
and it's because like, I think kindness goes a long way. And even if I think that DM was just like, hey, I think you're hot. And I said, thank you so much. And like, that was it. But that like goes a long way with people. Like there is a need for one, kindness, and for genuine connections to connect that kindness. And so I think that is what we bring to the table. And we do want to connect with more people to bring forward that kindness that we're always talking about. There's not a lot of it in the world. So
well, I think there's a ton of kindness in the world. As a matter of fact, I think that most people are good and kind. I think that oftentimes people kind of get mixed up in things, which is why we have laws and regulations and shit, because it's to keep people within a certain framework of what is perceived as order. But also at the same time, like, we know that there's inherent evil in the world, right? But those people are few and far between. I think, like, in our not safe for work space, like, we see it every day, like 99% of the reaction we get is like, oh my God, y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for what you do. You've changed my life, and whatever it is, right? In a positive sense. And then there's the other side, this like completely negative, like, you're nasty, disgusting. And like some people will write out like a whole paragraph on how like disgusting you are.
Whoa.
And it's like, I don't even think that like, that's not evil. That's just somebody that's hurting.
reflecting their inside pain.
100%.
Absolutely.
And, we've talked about that, and it's like, I would really like to, and I really think that as much as chaotic as the world may seem, right? Because we're all tied into social media all day, every day.
Yeah.
Looking at the latest tweet, the latest Facebook post, the latest Snapchat, Instagram, whatever it is. And it's like, like if that thing's over an hour old, it's old news, right? So like we got to be back checking like every 10, 15 minutes, and we're all tied into this, that, and it's so easy to get caught up in it.
Right.
But I think that the world is actually trending towards a better place.
Yeah.
And I do, and I think that, a lot of that has to do with, you and I have talked about the recent, well, not so recent anymore, but half a year ago, Elon Musk take over Twitter.
Yeah.
And how that's really changed things and allowed people to speak freely.
Yeah.
And because for the longest time, like in that debate, it was like one side could say one thing and the other side was muted, and if they spoke up, they would get shut down,
Right.
So like there was no debate in
Right.
anything or conversation taking place. So now it's nice to see a more open and free dialogue,
finally,
and people be
yes.
able to discuss issues, and also people be able to get called out on their bullshit.
Right.
Which is why you don't see Peter Hotez debating RFK Jr. on Joe
Right.
Rogan's podcast, because he's full of shit.
Right.
So are many of the other people that we see out there. Hotez, you should be vibing kind, sir.
Come speak on our podcast.
Yeah, you can come to us. I don't know anything about health, but
No, but it is. I think, the internet has provided a interesting place nowadays, especially where people can truly kind of be whatever you want to be, whatever that looks like and what you want to put forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in our real life, they, they're like, man, you look so happy. You guys look so happy.
Yeah.
You're doing awesome. And I really attribute that to like, one, like you said, we put everything out there. Like what you see is
Right.
what you get. Even in real life, like nothing changes really between those two things. And I think when you lead a life of authenticity right off the bat, and you're not posting your absolute best photoshopped photo on Instagram saying just woke up, you know what I mean? When you're truly being authentic with who you are and what you have to offer, that is what will make something grow from that. Happiness grows from that. True happiness, not the happiness you get from going to buy a new Michael Kors purse.
the dopamine hit.
Exactly.
Happiness, yeah.
Yes, that adrenaline, that instant gratification. This space has really provided you and I a place to be authentic, 100% authentic. And I think I'm a pretty cool person in real life, so it's very cool to be able to connect with a few fans that I have in real life, to connect with the people online that I have connected with, and to be able to share that message of like, look, you can be kind, you can be authentic, and you can still live a life of happiness, even if your family doesn't understand it, even if your fucking friends don't understand it, because first off, people don't like when you grow outside of their scope. So keep that in mind. So if you have family members, if you have friends that you feel are holding you back, I can tell you right now, drop that shit, because you are never going to grow if you stay comfortable. People, even with our space, like, it is uncomfortable putting yourself out there at first. But then when you realize, like, there are millions of people in this world, and we do a lot of good things, we do a lot of kind things, we help a lot of relationships, a ton of marriages, friendships, literally anything you can think of, we've gotten a DM for it. And I'm very, like, I believe that you are able to preach when you lead by example. And I truly think that Haley and Zane live that life. We live by example of doing these things and showing people. Who gives a fuck what people have to say about you?
Yeah, and I'd really like to caution against the term preach. I think that has like some like religious connotations, and like, we're not trying to sit up here and preach to anybody and tell them this is how you do it, or it's that, or you're going to be bad, right? Like, we're just trying to give you, some helpful tips and hints, and
I'm excited.
I am too.
Very excited. If you guys, we have the Twitter Vibing Kind, we have the Instagram Vibing Kind, we have a lot of good things going up right now for Vibing Kind, and we want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. We want to hear some things that you guys want discussed. If you have relationship advice that you need discussed, if you have an issue with your best friend that you kind of want a little bit of, how do I go about this situation? That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and it can be anonymous too, as Haley said. If you want to shoot something in the comments on a post, go ahead, but everybody's going to see it. But also, your anonymity is guaranteed, and we've been trusted with people's anonymity for a long time now. Yeah. And if you maybe have a more heartfelt question that you really don't want people to know that you asked, we could definitely blur the name, or not use it. Just let us know, and we would love to answer your questions here on the podcast.
Yeah. A lot of you guys know we have a lot more to offer than just the advice in the relationship realm. We are both very active. We do a very good job of eating very clean, eating healthy. And so we also are going to be sharing a lot of that on the podcast as well. That is like a main thing to me, especially both of us. But
I think it's everything, yeah.
Right, it is
truly.
everything.
I mean, like, sorry, I know I'm interrupting you here, but like if you don't have your health,
exactly,
what do you have? You know, and I know that, like, this is a very cynical position, but like, it's hard for me to, for instance, I'm at the, maybe I shouldn't say where I was. I was at a healthcare professional's establishment a few weeks ago, and one of the persons there was just morbidly obese. And my immediate thought is, how can you be taking care of people when you can't take care of yourself?
Right.
So I know that upsets a lot of people and it triggers people and shit, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah, and I think we do a good job of leading by example in that as well. So you guys will be seeing a lot of our activities that we do. You guys will also be seeing them on the other social platforms that have to do with Vibing Kind, and also nutrition. We do a very good job of eating clean. It's very important to us to put good things into your body that came from the earth. So we will be sharing a lot of that as well, because I do believe what you put into your body, what you think in your head, makes a complete difference in the way that you are day to day. So I think pushing more of that out is going to help you guys as well, hopefully lead that same life, and maybe you guys start getting active with us and start eating good with us, and maybe there's a few challenges that will come up that we can do some stuff for. So
100% make positive change,
Yes.
and it's fun doing this stuff that we do, because like this, putting ourselves out here like this also helps us hold ourselves accountable.
Big
you
time.
know, so it's a lot of fun, and we love interacting with people. You know, as a matter of fact, even in our we have a massive Discord server that we have for the Not Safe for Workspace, and even in that we have a Safe for Work section where fitness is there.
Yes.
And you know, I love popping in and checking on the community members' fitness journeys, you know, and people that don't even like interact with us necessarily or really involved with the community, they'll still go and post in the fitness section because it's so important to them, you know. So,
well,
and sorry to interrupt, but and it's like you can also make a change at any moment, and it's easy for people to look at that people that are at the pinnacle of their game, not saying that I am or you are, but like, you know, like in business, for instance, like everyone, you know, you look at this very successful person and everybody, not everybody, but many people might look at them now successful in their career and think, well, that's easy because they had this, but no one sees the grind that it takes to get there, right? Like I used to be almost 260 pounds.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That's crazy.
Right? So, and now I don't know what I am, 180, 190 or something, but, you know, and complete disclosure, like I feel like as a, you know how I've mentioned to you how Tony Robbins talks, there's like 7 different kind of pillars in life, and like everybody is you know, you have like health, finance, personal relationships, spirituality, whatever. Where do you rank on each of those? And it's like, while I feel that personally, I feel like for me, like health in my own life, I probably do the best at compared to the other things. Still, like my health is like garbage, you know. Like when I really dive into what I do, you know, it's like I sit down probably too much of the day, and my exercise consists of a few times a week of 20 to 30 minutes, you know. But the thing is like, I don't drink anymore, like I don't smoke anymore, I don't eat processed foods anymore, so that really helps me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, I think what I've learned, and I just really try to, you know, when people reach out to me and they're in a troubled spot or something, and it seems like the weight of the world's on your shoulders, or you just don't seem like you can move forward, it's like, just slowly take that next step.
Yeah.
That next step, and look at the next step and the next step. Don't look 5,000 steps down the road. Just look at that next step and the next step and the next step. And you know, you might take 2 steps back, but then, you know, the 3-step forward adage. And if you continue to progress and move forward, that's all you can do.
That's one thing that I think that we're super big about. It's like when we do have people come to us that say, oh, I've had such a bad day, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, tomorrow's a new day. Like, good thing,
100%.
right? Like, good thing you get to wake up and start a whole new day tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the first day for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And it's all about changing your mindset, putting your mind into a good place to be able to, because we all do it. Let's not sit here and act like Haley never has a bad day or is never depressed or never goes through anything like that. Of course I do. I am a human being just like everyone else listening to this right now. The only difference is I don't sit on it at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what can I do? I think last night, like we were getting shit going and I was like, clean the whole fucking house. Just clean everything.
Yeah.
Get everything clean. Today I gave a huge pep talk about like why work out on the weekend. Well, it's because time doesn't stop and you got to keep that. For me, I'm a big scheduled person, a big routine person. So like I have to keep that routine going to stay in my lane. You know what I mean? Because if not, I'll veer off. So to me, a routine is important. Going to the gym, getting breakfast done, having that routine, you know, in place provides me a lot of structure, so I'm not like, let me stop in at Chick-fil-A real quick and grab something. Like, no.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to the gym and I'm gonna grab groceries for dinner and I'm gonna prep tonight and I'm gonna do this, and you have that routine.
Yeah. It's you talk about like working out on Sundays, time doesn't stop, keep going, and that's a great way to put it. It made me think I was listening to some years back, I was listening to Grant Cardone on a podcast, and I have my own personal reservations about him, but he made a good point. And somebody called in, and they were talking about, you know, these people, they're like struggling, like no money, you know, trying to get their life off the ground type thing. And which, you know, we all start at some point, I totally understand. But the person, the caller calling in, they were saying how that they hustle, and Grant's like, well, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we do this 6 days a week, you know, and we do this on Sundays, we take off, it's God days. And Grant's like, what? He's like, God day? And he's like, yeah, Sundays, it's God's day. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you don't work on Sundays, it's God's day. He's like, well, God don't want your ass to be broke and hungry.
Yeah.
Get out of bed and go do something, you know? Like,
change something.
And it's,
yeah,
we can, it's easy to get in your head and create these things of why you can't do something, you know?
And get overwhelmed with it.
But it's only until you rip those Band-Aids off and just start going, you know? Like it's like running, right? Like the hardest part about every run for me, not everyone, I shouldn't say that, but many runs, especially like in the past, would be like the first steps.
Yeah.
Like just getting out there and just doing it. Like literally taking the first step. Committing yourself to doing it.
Yep. But when you do, how do you feel after?
Amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. So please listen to that. If you are feeling in a rut, or you're feeling in a weird place, or you're feeling stuck, just get out and move and be in the present moment. Let go of like the, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? What if this goes down? Don't even think about that. Focus in the present moment and what you can control and what you can do right now to take control over your situation. And I think when you focus on the now and stop worrying about the anxieties of what was in the past or what's in the future, like that makes a big difference as well. You have to be in the present moment and focus on what you can control. There's a lot of things that are out of our control. We can't control how other people act. That's a big thing in our space. We can't control how other people act, so we don't.
Or say about you or anything like that.
So you know what
right?
we do? We control how we react to what people say. And we treat people with love and kindness, even if they're rude, love and kindness, because that's what people deserve. And you will manifest that in your life when you do that.
Yeah.
It's all about it. So I am very excited to be bringing you guys some awesome, just wait for these episodes. You guys are going to be so excited. We are going to bring you all kinds of different things. So I hope you guys are just as ready as we are. And again, if you have anything that you'd like us to know, please Twitter Vibing Kind, Instagram Vibing Kind. You can email us, whatever you guys want to do. We'll leave it in the show notes below so that you can reach out to us. And we just can't wait to start this new journey with you guys and Vibing Kind.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Everyone coming, you know, we have millions and millions of followers in the Not Safe for Work space. So those that are coming over here, thank you so much for the support that you guys have given us in the past. And don't worry, that's not going away. We're still doing that. Just the podcast is going to be in a safe for work box, so we can reach and touch many more people and interact with many more people. And you know, like I was telling you yesterday, like talking about this podcast, the Vibing Kind podcast, and I've mentioned to you, like I actually want to do interviews, you know, and interview people, and because like the reality is I love to learn. Love to learn when it's what I want to learn, right? Not like literature of, you know, freaking
random
8th century,
shit.
whatever. Like, I don't care about that. And the thing is we can learn from everybody in every situation, whether, you know, it was a whatever type of action it was. And so if you have an interesting story that you think that the listeners would like to hear, please write us in, and we'd love to hear from you.
I'm just
Hear
very
from you,
excited.
sorry. Yeah.
I'm just very excited. I'm overall just so excited. I feel like this is a new journey, like I said, for us. And I'm excited to bring even more people into that journey because I do feel like it is an amazing one. So I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude for like you guys wanting to be here and listen, for everyone that will be here to listen. Like you guys don't even understand. We are so grateful that you guys love listening to us talk.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. That's what I tell people, like, yeah, we got a podcast, and it's kind of weird that people listen, you know, like, and then like people write in and they tell you something that you said, like they heard on a podcast, you know, 20 episodes ago that stuck with them, and you're like, I don't even remember saying that. You know? So,
that is crazy, right? That does happen.
So hopefully it's mostly good things and not bad things that we influence, but no. Nonetheless, thank you so much for being with Vibing Kind, and we can't wait to be with you next time.
Yep.
I'm Zane.
I'm Haley, and Vibe Kind.
See ya.